welcome to this week's episode of Pull the Other One here on River Radio. This is a show where we take a light-hearted look at events in today's world and in Berkshire by mishmashing traditional comedy panel shows whilst also getting to know our weekly guest in a chat show format. I'm your host, Brian Naylor, and as ever, joining me are our resident contestants, the talented DJ and presenter and the awesome Chloe Sinclair, better known as Miss C. How are you, Chloe?
I'm fabulous.
As always. And on the other side, we have the host of Same Again Barman, Comedy Nights, and YouTube presenter, the crazy man himself, Pratik Barman. How you doing, Pratik?
Hey, Brian. How you doing? Ready to go?
Mate. Good, good. Joining us this week is our very special guest. She is a journalist and comedy writer, and we're going to be finding out a lot more about some of her live sketches and stand-up comedy as the show goes on. It's Jo Tilley. Welcome, Jo.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Don't look so worried. You're quite safe here. So before we get started, Jo, I just wanted to get to know you a little bit better. So you're a journalist, you're a comedian. So let's start off with the comedy side of things then. How did you start off as a comedy person thing?
Oh, that is what I describe myself as. I was working in Australia for TNT, the travel magazine, and they set me off doing all kinds of crazy adventures like skydiving and abseiling, and they were like, write up a feature. And I just found that my style was comedic and very insulting pieces about my parents visiting me. And I just thought, you know what, this is what I want to be doing. So it started there. And then I've written sitcoms and film scripts and was in a sketch group with Pratik Barman, the famous Pratik Barman.
Poor thing. How on earth did that go?
It had its moments. But it was fun, wasn't it?
It was. We were part of a comedy troupe called Monkey Wedding, and they're still going, and I've been booted out.
I think he booted himself
I
out.
did. I had to leave because I moved town, but it was good.
We miss him.
Well, no, you can have him back anytime. It's fine.
We don't miss him that much.
So you say you were over in Australia when it all sort of first started then. What are the scripts that you've written for sitcoms, or is it radio? Was it TV? Was it Australian?
I've written a couple of scripts, but I must admit, I'm still trying to break through like a lot of people. I've done stand-up, I've done sketch comedy, I've written for podcasts and written gags for greeting cards companies. It's a long game, so it's got to keep on fighting.
Was there a difference in style or just difference in humour between Australia then and when you came back to the UK? All I'm asking is, do the Australians have a different sense of humour?
I feel like I'm going to get in trouble.
Why?
Oh, God. I think that the UK have a slight more layered sense of humour, I would say. I think I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible here. Oh, you know, you go to Bali and you just see little wooden willies for the Australian tourists. That's the kind of thing. I think it's funny.
Wooden Willie is quite funny. And stand-up comedy, how would you describe your style?
It's very about me. Everything's about me. That I wrote was about the fact I was getting on a bit and I was single, which sounds a bit cliche, but I think when you're a comedian, you often write from where you're at. And I'm writing in an Edinburgh Fringe show at the moment, so that's a little bit under wraps. But yeah, I'm quite excited about it.
Super. This is a load of barnacles. So a good place to start is round one, the news review. I'll give you the subject line of a story and you have to let me know your ideas on what the story may be about. Points will be awarded for any amusing or even a correct answer. So question one. Man returns to his $6 million home to find what?
Is it old President Trump hiding out from the taxman?
Could be.
Had someone stolen his Ford Fiesta?
No, probably not.
Was it Boris Johnson refurbishing his flat?
As a charity case, I don't think Boris Johnson would break into somebody else's house and refurbish it for him. Look at the mess he's making of the country. Was it that a man returns to his 6K, or however much it was worth, house to find an illegal rave happening?
It's actually very close. Very close, but it's not the right answer.
Did he find all the Hartlepool Labour voters? They were locked in.
I like it.
Was it all the people that voted for Brexit hiding out with embarrassment?
So far, we've got no correct answers.
Had his wife replace the house with a 20-foot tall bouncy castle?
No.
Just imagining that is so much fun. I'm just like, where's my house? What is this?
It's better.
A lot less cleaning.
I think I know this, Brian. He found someone getting married in it.
He did indeed. Yes, that is correct. This is the story that when Sunita Jones and Courtney Wilson got married in a $6 million home, guests were delighted to be invited to spend the weekend at the estate. But there was just one tiny snag. The home wasn't theirs and they hadn't even hired it. The real owner knew nothing about their plans until he showed up on Saturday morning and the house was overrun by guests and staff. It puts a whole new meaning to the tradition of something borrowed.
Yeah, it really does.
It's a ballsy move.
It is a ballsy move.
Just imagine coming back to your house and seeing that going on. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that one.
You kind of would have wanted to join in a little.
I would have wanted to join in. I think it'd be great.
Would you just let them get on with it until the end and then rip them to shreds? Because it's like, oh, you know.
You do a drunken speech and pretend you're an uncle and then tell everyone to get lost.
Who the hell are you people?
I'd actually try and chat to the bridesmaids.
Yeah, good luck with that, mate.
I know. Or obviously, they have to have a lack of vision as well.
And taste.
And taste.
Surely they've got to be lacking in lots of things.
Yeah. Lacking in legs so they can't run away.
I think you're selling yourself short, Pratik.
No arms so they can't slap me.
No ears so they can't hear your terrible jokes, yeah.
Other than that, you're in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so somebody got a point there. I think it was Chloe. Congratulations. Okay, question number 2. TV network ABC apologizes over video of what?
Was it a video of a politician actually telling the truth?
I don't think they've got one.
No, exactly. I did think that as I said it.
Was it over a video that was not explicitly sexist enough for the average Australian viewer?
You are in so much trouble with the Australians. Goodness.
I've doubled down.
Well, it was Americans last week, so we're going through.
I love you, Australia. I actually live with Australians, so does that get me out of things?
Is that your I've got an Australian friend card?
They love a bit of banter.
Yeah, it's fine. They are us anyway. They get it.
Did they apologise over Donald Trump's presidency?
Australia?
No, ABC.
They didn't do that.
No, I think there must have been ABC Australia. They probably have branches around the world, don't they?
Something to do with twerking. I vaguely remember some sort of video of people being twerked at and there being uproar because it was totally inappropriate.
That's absolutely right. This is the story that during the launch of the Australian Navy's new $2 billion warship, ABC showed footage of women in lycra hot pants, crop tops and red berets twerking in front of the officials and veterans. However, ABC later admitted that the dance troupe had not performed in front of dignitaries and were in fact only part of the pre-launch entertainment. They went on to say that the way the footage had been edited didn't really twerk. Let's move on to question number 3. Thousands of what invade, forcing residents to stay indoors?
Was it OAPs?
Was it COVID sufferers?
Oh.
Topical.
Was it Tories?
Was it lepers? Sorry, I'm being too quick. I'm just getting so excited.
Was it kangaroos?
Could be kangaroos.
Was it birds?
It was birds, Joe. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well done. This story was titled Bird Apocalypse. Thousands of parrots invaded a town, forcing residents to stay indoors. It was the eerie moment that a huge flock of white parrots invaded a small town in the suburbs of Sydney, Australia. One resident who captured some of the birds reported that he was taking them to the zoo. He later said that they had a lovely time and he's now going to take them to the beach. Question number 4 then, moving on. What interrupts White House briefing after a weird creaking is heard?
Is it Joe Biden walking up some stairs?
Whoa, weird creaking.
Yeah, his bones. He's old, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Is it wedding guests that weren't invited?
Yes, it could be.
Is it doggers?
This is going back to last week, isn't it?
There's not a week that goes by where we don't mention doggers. Pratik doesn't mention them. I think that's what he's up to in Wales. That's why he lives in the country. I always wonder why they move out to the middle of nowhere. I'm like, what are you up to? What are you hiding? What are you up dogging? That's probably what it is.
Have you ever been dogging, Pratik?
No, I haven't. I
So
don't
he
think
says.
so anyway.
Okay, anybody know what this story is about?
Is it Abraham Lincoln's ghost?
Chloe's got it right again.
I was just making that up, and I can't believe I got it right. You know?
It is. It's a story about Abraham Lincoln's ghost. A weird creaking noise interrupted a White House press briefing, sparking conspiracy theories that the old building was inhabited by the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. This isn't the first time unexplained sounds have been heard from the White House. Michelle and Barack Obama reported that they sometimes heard strange noises in the hallway at night, and George W. Bush's daughter, Jenna, claimed that she once heard piano music coming from a fireplace. And more recently, the witterings of a madman have been reported being heard, saying things like, I'm intelligent. Some people would say, I'm very, very, very intelligent. And also, to be blunt, people just vote for me. Why? Maybe because I'm so good looking.
He didn't actually say that, did he?
These are actual quotes from the man.
That's like if delusions, an example of delusions in the dictionary, it would just have a picture of Trump, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So at the end of that round, Chloe is in the lead, and then Joe, and then Pratik. I've no idea what the score is really, but that will do.
The soundtrack to life in the Thames Valley. River Radio. On the web.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
On your mobile.
Hello?
And on Alexa too.
River Radio.
That's it!
I pronounce that River Radio, but I'm always working on how I say things, and I might not have it right.
Round 2, is that a fear bit, is where you have to convince your fellow panelists whether your story is a truth or a lie. Your fellow contestants can cross-examine you and the details of your story to help them decide if your story is true or false. Points will be awarded for guessing it correctly. Chloe?
I once got asked out by a football player.
Who hasn't?
Who was it?
It was a football player from the Brighton team who was formerly Crystal Palace.
What's wrong with him?
A little bit full of himself and probably about a foot shorter than I was.
Did
Is
you
that the main
accept?
problem?
Almost. He was very persistent. He kept coming into my place of work and trying to chat me up, and I was just, oh God, no. I didn't even know he was a footballer. I don't care anyway. But then he asked me out on a date, and I said, after him pursuing me for a long time, I said, oh, okay, maybe. And then he asked me out on a date, took my phone number, and then sent me a text to say, oh, sorry, I can't make the date. I've actually got to go and play football tomorrow. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's the trouble with these footballers, isn't it?
Oh
Why
my
did-
God, that's annoying.
Isn't that standard though for what boyfriends do? They say
No.
make plans and then they go and play football.
Not when you're going on a first date, it isn't, no.
All right, that's why I'm single then.
This sounds quite true to me. Not the single thing and also the story.
And what do you say, Pratik?
I think it's definitely true.
I would say true as well. Chloe, is it true? Did you get asked out by a footballer?
Yeah, and the most satisfying thing was because he flopped on the first date, he tried to ask me out again and I said no. And then he said, oh yeah, but I play football. And I said, listen, babe, I don't even like football. You could play for England and it wouldn't mean anything to me. So good luck. And that was very satisfying.
I've interviewed a lot of footballers.
Boring.
Maybe I don't want to get on the wrong side of footballers and Australians today.
They're just better on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the sack. No,
I didn't get that far.
But what famous footballers have you interviewed?
I have interviewed. It depends what your definition of a famous footballer is, but I've interviewed pretty much anyone who's ever played for Brentford Football Club.
So not very famous then, yeah.
Well, we may be in the Premier League next year, so
Really?
I am
Well,
in the playoffs,
Brentford?
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise that.
Okay. How come you've interviewed everybody from Brentford then? Is that because
because I used to work for the football club. I used to write their program and do interviews from the matches and stuff.
Oh, okay. So this is part of your journalism work
Yeah,
for Brentford Football Club.
yeah. Big
Okay.
up the bees.
Congratulations. Joe got that
I'll
point,
take
I
it.
think, and it is Joe's turn.
Okay, I once met Noel Gallagher and told him I preferred Liam, and he put me into a headlock.
That sounds true, actually, because we once met him and my best friend said, oh, is it Liam? And he said, oh, no, it's the other one. And he just went, ugh. Like, basically, she thought he was the other one and then was really disappointed when she realised it was that one. He realised and was really like, oh, and it was so funny to see him. So I think that could be true, but I'm,
How long ago was this?
It's quite a long time. I'd say it was like 2014.
Not that long. 7 years ago.
feels like
I'm
a
not as
lifetime
old
ago.
as you, Pretty.
So where did this happen?
This happened at the Builders Arms pub in Kensington.
Oh,
Nice.
specific big details.
Nice little pub in a like residential area.
I don't believe it. They wouldn't let you into a nice pub.
We were outside.
Oh, yeah, that's more like it.
We were just as you get to the door, and the fun thing was we were having a chat. I've just started this new job at a sports company, and all my colleagues turned up, and I'm there talking to Noel Gallagher like, "You're right, guys."
So did you know them before that, or did you just meet them at the time?
Who?
Not your work colleagues, Liam Gallagher. So
I hadn't met Noel Gallagher, and it was one of the band players that I don't know the name of.
So you met them in the beer garden, basically. You just
met
said
them
hello.
outside, and I went to say hi.
Ah, so like a stalker.
I just say as a very confident woman.
Just a fan, somebody who appreciates the music. I don't know if it's stalking. It's not unless you
know.
follow them around from pub to pub.
They were still wearing the same outfit they had on at the Brits 2 nights ago, so they'd obviously done a really long night.
Did you point that out?
I didn't realise until I saw photos of the Brits, and I was like, they're wearing the same clothes.
So
That
hold
is
on a
amazing.
So if he was wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago, to be held in a headlock would have been quite a whiffy place to be.
I don't remember the smell.
Now, you see, I'm going to say you met him, but he didn't get you into a headlock, because I think there would have been a smell.
Yeah, I
That's
think
quite
so.
smart.
Yeah, aren't smells one of the biggest recollections for memory? Is the smell, isn't it?
That's why-
Unless he just had an exceptionally clean armpit.
Not in a band like that, you don't. I reckon
No.
they'd all smell of beer and sweat and puke or something. Sorry. I just assume that bands smell of that sort of thing.
They all smell of puke. All
Especially if they've been up for
bands,
2 days.
guys. That's why they have groupies. They love the puke.
Do you know, I actually once heard a story about somebody who used to be in a band, and he said, I won't say which band it was, but he had a beard and he once woke up with his face on a curb. He'd been sick and his beard had gone rock hard and to the right. And he... So not only did he look like something that had been chewed and spat out, he woke up with his head on the curb like it was a pillow.
I like that story.
A
That's
proper
funny.
rock and roll story, isn't it? Sorry.
That's false.
So what do we think? Is Joe's story about Liam Gallagher true or false?
I think she met him, but I don't think he got her in a headlock, so I'm going to go with false.
I think she didn't meet him and she didn't get him in a headlock. So I think it's totally false.
We've got 2 falses. Joe, is it true or false?
Really interesting because it's false because it was Liam Gallagher, not Noel Gallagher.
I think that's a true story.
That would be true.
Yeah, that's a true story.
But he did get me in a headlock, and I said I prefer Noel, but nobody prefers Noel to Liam, so it's obviously a lie.
Joe, you're going to get the point anyway because
Good.
I think it was true and I think it's a good story. So well done. Congratulations. Pratik is still in last place and it's your go.
Growing up in Wales, I was so fascinated with sheep that I wanted to be a shepherd. So much so that later on in life, I did a shepherd's course.
No, I don't believe it. You are Welsh and we do have a lot of sheep up there, but I don't know, is a shepherd's course, is that an actual course that you can do, or is that something that you just learn on the job?
Basically, I went to a farm and learned about sheep shearing and sheep herding.
How long
You
was the
tell him.
course?
3 months, actually. It was
Wow.
my summer holiday. When I was a student and came back and worked on a farm.
So what do you learn then on a sheep shearing course? I mean,
For
obviously
3
you've had a-
months.
Yeah,
For 3 months. There's a long course.
3 months.
Explain some
Yes.
of the techniques then needed to do a good shear.
You wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, sometimes 5 a.m. actually. You go onto the farm, you have to herd the sheep in, feed them in their troughs and everything. When they need to be sheared, it's in later on in the season.
So far, you've told us nothing, and now it's coming to the detail. You're struggling. So you have to get them in, feed
You have
them.
to wake up.
We have to wake up at
Good
6. You've
start.
got all right that far.
He wasn't even sure what time he should wake up either, which is...
And now it comes to the shearing. There was a bit of hesitation. What the hell am I going to say now?
I've forgotten.
And now you're going to drag that out for 3 months, not unless you had to shear every single sheep in the whole farm before you could leave.
They go through every step it takes from when you've woken up to when you meet the sheep.
Let me finish. Excuse me. So basically, you grab them by the neck, you shear them, take the wool, and then put it into a basket. That's taken away.
I never would have
Cycle.
guessed that.
It was a very interesting 3 months, actually. And I got paid okay money as well.
I'm going to go with false.
Really?
Yeah, bizarrely enough.
What makes you think that, Chloe?
I don't know. It was the way he didn't know what time he was waking up in the morning. The way he stalled for time telling that bit at the beginning made me feel like he's making it up as he goes
and there was
along.
absolutely no detailing on the shearing.
There is that.
Plus the fact, who pays you to go and do a course?
Yes. Oh, right, Miss Marple.
Okay, false.
2 falses. Pratik, did you or did you not do 3 months on a sheep shearing course?
I did. No. God.
No. Knew it.
That would have been the worst course ever if you'd done it.
Yeah, and he would have been paying no attention because the way he's told that story was like, I think I got up at 5 or maybe 6.
What did you learn?
And then, I had to do some sheep. But if you'd done it for 3 months, you'd know exactly what went on and you just reel that off. Nobody's business. You were too like, I think I got up at 5. That was it for me.
Okay, then at the end of round 2, we have Pratik is in last place. Well, that's without even looking at the scores. Then Joe, and then, of course, Chloe is in the lead in her rightful place. Let's just find out a little bit more about Joe at this point. What sort of stuff are you looking to achieve with your journalism?
I want to unveil all the world's corruption.
And do you think there's a lot of corruption? I don't know, where was it? Bradford Football Club?
Oh, God, good question. No, it's a very family-friendly, wholesome place. No corruption there. It's actually a really cool football club. And I was there for 2.5 years and did all sorts of things, reporting, writing, worked with the Community Sports Trust, which is great because you never usually see that side of a football club. It's more like a charity which goes out and works with young people and old people and people with disabilities. Football clubs are amazing, I think.
Joe, what got you into sport?
My parents love sport. My mum's a great Brentford fan and she's got a season ticket. And I think that just seeing them watching the sport on weekends, it just went into me. And I graduated and I thought, what the hell am I going to do? And ended up working at Sky News. And then I thought, I don't want to do anything this serious. And I thought, what's less serious? Sport. That was pretty much it, Pratik.
Yeah, but I think sport is serious, but fun at the same time.
It's more fun, but you still, I think journalists still take sport a bit seriously, considering what it is. They take it on with a very straight bat, whereas I think there should be more fun in sport.
So as far as journalism is concerned, what's your favourite area to get your teeth sunk into?
I quite like equality. I've worked in sport and comedy, and they're both areas that I see there's a real problem with females and like enough representation. So I think anything I can do to present myself as a woman working in sport or a woman working in comedy is really precious. I've actually set up a script service which focuses on the development of female characters because I was so fed up of the TV shows I watched, which were all like male focused. I go to a lot of writing groups and the writers, they had good intentions, but their female characters were either not there or completely weak. And I just thought, I don't want this to be the generation of comedy we leave behind because women now work, but often in scripts, they don't have jobs. And you're just like, where are we? I thought it was good to set that up so I can work with writers just to sort of have a look out for these things they often don't do for women. And it's fun just meeting writers and trying to help them because I know how hard it is to create like a sitcom. There's so many moving parts and it's quite lonely. So hit me up if you're interested in a chat.
Definitely. I'm very interested. Also, I wanted to ask, I was listening to a podcast with Frankie Boyle the other day, and he said that it's getting more difficult for comedians every single day on account of, I want to say, the snowflake generation or the cancel culture that we're going through. And it's actually putting a lot of comedians off doing the job because they're so concerned about what they can and cannot say that actually it's just too much of a minefield. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's a really good point because often some of my best comedy thoughts, I'm not happy to say it either because I think people will backlash against it or I morally am not happy to say it. My sort of solution is to concentrate very much on myself, and I think you're in a safer territory because people can't really come at you for that. But I do think that we should be able to say more than we can, but there are a lot of issues we're dealing with, like with race and gender and trans issues as well, so it's impossible to know what's right or wrong, I think.
Well, I think it's quite bizarre. I heard recently that they've just got rid of the Sleeping Beauty ride at Disneyland because of the shadiness of the story. So a woman is asleep and a man comes and kisses her. It's inappropriate. It's non-consensual. But, you know, we grew up with it and I didn't really see anything wrong with it. But now they're going into the past and cancelling things, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Just don't create them now. Don't cancel things that have happened in the past.
But where does that stop, though? Because, you know, if you've heard any fairy tales, what about Goldilocks breaking an entry, stealing porridge?
Where does it end?
Where
I mean, you're
does
just going
it
to have to cancel all the past. Just cancel everything until further notice. You're not going to be able to do anything, are you?
But it's so difficult. It's a minefield just knowing what to say. And I truly believe that it's where that comes from and what the target is of that joke. So if you're saying it with hatred and menace and hoping to cause harm, then yeah, things should be off limits. But if it's actually from a place of love, we mock because we love. I hate to say, I take the mickey out of Pratik every week, but we do it because they're friends and it comes from a place of good. And if I thought thought for 1 minute that he took anything seriously. If anybody took anything I say seriously, I wouldn't. It's interesting, isn't it? Because some comedians, they seem to get away with saying anything, and they're brave enough just to go out there and say
Like Boris Johnson.
whatever they like.
Is he a comedian?
When they get away with it,
He'd
though.
a better job at being a comedian than being Prime Minister.
In a world where radio stations are 10 a penny,
Can I have 10 radio stations, please?
That'll be a penny, love.
Thank you.
there is one radio station
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one that stands out from the crowd.
I want that one. All right. What is this thing?
It's River Radio. There can be only one.
One that's made entirely out of syrup.
Let's move on then to round 3, which is named Did I Stutter? Each contestant is given a subject to talk about for 1 minute. However, repetition, hesitation, or talking complete nonsense is not allowed. If any of those occur, your fellow contestants can challenge you, and if they get it right, they take over and complete the 1 minute to win the point. I may also sometimes randomly pass the story on to someone else if at any time it's just far too boring. So the first contestant is Chloe, and Chloe, I would like you to talk about ghosts. Your time starts now.
Ghosts, what do we know about them? We know that they are the spirits of the recently, oh God.
Recently.
Recently, oh
I was
God.
going to say recently
Yeah.
diseased.
Brian, I'm going to come in and say that's an interruption.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. Pratik, you have got 52 seconds to actually get this point, starting now.
So I love the film Ghost. I love Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, especially the pottery scene. It's very erotic, as they say in Wales.
Anybody going to challenge?
Challenge. What am I challenging?
So Joe doesn't know the rules.
Joe, did you listen to the rules? I did an intro there, was it not?
I'll challenge even though I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, because he was umming, wasn't he? He was umming. He was going,
Yeah.
So you
did
challenge,
yoga.
that means you get the story, and you have got 37 seconds to complete the minute to win the point, starting on ghosts now.
I once met Abraham Lincoln's ghost in the White House, and I was very surprised to see him there because I've been to the White House many a times, but usually I just see people that are living, not people that are dead. So Joe Biden, although he might be a bit on the spectrum, you know what I mean? Are we allowed to do jokes in this? I don't know. Anyway, me and Abraham Lincoln, we got on really good. We had a nice meal together. It was Indian. We ate some poppadoms, and we did talk about Donald Trump. And I think that he quite liked Donald Trump just because he's like a proper
That's 1 minute.
personality.
You win that point. So Joe steals the point from Chloe, who did, let's be honest, a god-awful attempt.
I'm fine with that.
Pratik, you're up next, please, if that's okay. And you have 1 minute to talk to us about birds. Your minute starts now.
So once upon a time, I used to live in an aviary with a lot of different parrots and cockatoos and blackbirds and robins.
I've just heard 3 and nobody's challenging. It's almost like nobody wants to take over, isn't it?
I was just listening to the story, getting lost. I was like, where's he
I
going
was
with
thinking
this?
he's done shearing and now he's studying birds. It's all a bit weird.
It's just going to call him Pratik Doolittle.
It's funny. That's what they call me at work.
It's a good name for you.
He talks to the animals, but he does no work at all.
He talks to the animals, but they haven't got a clue what he's on about.
And nobody else sees that.
All the animals just looking around confused, going, what?
You can take over then,
that.
Chloe.
All
Yes.
right.
What have you got? 39 seconds to continue this talk about birds from now.
Birds, what do we know about them? Flappy little creatures. I don't really like them, to be honest, though, especially when they fly around your head. They're just basically rats with wings. But some people like them. You get people that go out and have a little look at them with binoculars and sit in sheds, and they really love it. I'm not really into it myself. Each to their own. Some people like animals, some people like sheep, like Pratik. Some people shear them, some people look at them, and some people throw stones at them. I'm not one of those people.
She said, 3 times.
Yeah.
I think think there was a bit of nonsense there.
Yeah, there was a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I thought nonsense was to be encouraged, to be honest.
Do you know what? I let the nonsense go because if we stop every time there's nonsense, we'll be here all day. So I think that was Pratik, actually, who stepped in first. You've got 10 seconds to continue talking about birds starting from now.
So, yes, I was in the aviary.
Stop that. So, yeah, I was in the aviary.
Yeah, listen, give it to Joe. Give the point to Joe.
Just give it to Joe. She's going to get it anyway.
Yeah, just give it to Joe.
Just give it to me.
Joe has 5 seconds to talk birds starting from now.
Now, when I met Abraham Lincoln's ghost, he told me...
Who did you meet? Abraham.
We really like birds.
She
I
can't
was
have
so
that.
surprised. And I'll say it again. When I met Abraham Lincoln's ghost, he
She can
really
say-
liked birds, and I was really surprised. No stutter.
She can't have that point. She can't even say Abraham Lincoln
Yeah,
twice.
no, it's just brilliant how you stumbled on that twice. Like it was only you had 5 seconds and you were like, blah, 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 blah.
I could have said anything and got it, but I chose to say a word I can't say. How do you say it?
Abraham Lincoln. We're moving on now to your go, Joe. You've got 1 minute
I'm
to
not
talk
gonna
about
mention
Abraham Lincoln. Starting.
Has she really? 1 minute to try and say the name Abraham Lincoln.
No, your actual topic. So, Joe, you have 1 minute to talk about twerking, starting from now.
I think that COVID has really affected twerking because twerking usually happened in clubs. So a lot of twerking is not existing anymore. But also, I would say that a lot of people are twerking inside in their houses. But if you twerk in your house and no one sees it, did you twerk at all? That's what we've all got to ask ourselves. I reckon we need to rebrand twerking and get someone a bit more respectable like Lisa Tarbuck to really boost twerking to the next level. Like I can imagine that maybe it's used for just military events or maybe it's used for funerals, just like kind of change the way people see twerking. I mean, we're not ready for a super league of twerking. We've learned that, haven't we, guys? But I think we can make it a bit more competitive and invite maybe countries like around the world, Spain versus England, Australia, my favourite country, versus New Zealand, and just have a
That's
massive...
a minute. Well done. Congratulations.
She is the queen of this game. She's
Yeah.
the only person who's managed to do a whole minute.
You're the first one
person
on Paul the Other One who's ever done that. But I think, again, I just think you can just be a little bit more unkind.
Twerking, she said about 58 times.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
repetition. So at the end of Did I Stutter, Chloe is in the lead with a number of points. Just wanted to ask you before we go on to our final rounds, Joe, looking into, again, some of the stuff you've done, I understand that you're off to, or if you can do, you're off to the Fringe. What have you got planned for that?
Well, I was thinking, I love Fleabag and I have a lot of respect for Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but I am nothing like her yet. So my show is I Am Not Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and it's basically looking into sort of things that I'm passionate about, things that we're similar. My sister went to her school, was in her class, and we sort of both from Ealing, both into comedy, both into female issues, but she's got a massive stratospheric career and I'm not quite there. So I thought it was a good sort of name to start off introducing the tone of what the show might be about.
Yeah. Do you find it sometimes difficult to take inspiration, but without sort of imitating or copying any of that material and still keeping to your true core self and making it your own?
I do a lot of thinking about myself. So I think that I'm in quite safe ground with being original. Well, I like to think I am anyway. But other people are going to be the judge of that.
And what's the name of the show that you're doing? Just tell us again.
So it's I'm Not Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Super. Well, listen, let's have a look at some of, and it's not the current stuff, but some of the stand-up that you've done in the past. Let's have a little listen now.
Hi, I'm Jo. Hello. I'm 33 and I'm single. And you might think I'd be sad that all my friends met the love of their lives in their 20s, had beautiful weddings and honeymoons, and are still in love a decade on. But you know what? I'm not. Because I'm sleeping with their children. No, actually, it's worse than that. I'm not sleeping with anyone. Illegal, legal, paralegal. And as cliche as it sounds, I am looking for a man to share my life with. What I want is a man who is confident, successful, good-looking, wealthy, well-travelled, intelligent, who accepts that I am better than him. Yeah, I've been single for a while now. And I think I might have to settle for my equal. But even this is tricky, because with each passing year, I just seem to be getting better and better and better. It always goes about silent now, but I just carry on. And better and better! Along with my endearing arrogance, another thing that prohibits me from playing the field is actually playing on a field. See, I play football, rude. I love football. And as most of you know, men love football too. So it should be a matter of us having the beautiful game in common. However, it isn't that simple. Because when a man says he's going to watch a football, what he's really saying is, grab me a 4-pack and do one. So when I say, I love watching football, what I'm really saying is, there's no escape. Now, I'm not saying that men who love football dislike spending time with their partners. They just dislike spending time with their partners when the football is on. Yes! So that's Sunday, Monday, football day. Tuesday, Wednesday, football day. Thursday, Friday, football day. Saturday, football all day. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I'm afraid, women, I'm afraid to have to break this to you, but men hate you. They hate you so much that sometimes when you leave the room, they put the match on pause just so it lasts even longer.
The soundtrack to life in the Thames Valley. River Radio. On the web.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
On your mobile.
Hello?
And on Alexa too.
River Radio.
That's it!
I pronounce that River Radio, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
Joe, do you remember that time we were on London Live and we got interviewed?
Yes. So I worked for the London Live for a couple of years on their show called It's Not the One Show. A really fun show presented by Louise Scody, and we just mimicked, as you guys do, and the panel format. And I foolishly suggested that our sketch group should come on live TV, and Pratik made it on there. And then I think he shared it with everybody living and dead. Pratik.
I did, but it was fun. The first time I've been on TV apart from Weakest Link, when I got the final and lost on a Welsh question.
I've never heard you say that before.
I know, yeah. Not that I mention every 2 minutes.
It wasn't. The question wasn't about shearing, was it?
Right. No, because I did the course.
Did they let you speak on London Live?
Yeah, we spoke. In Monkey Wedding, there was 9 of us, I think, in total. And only 5 of us were allowed onto the set at the time. So it was me, Joe, Yasser. Who else was there?
Kim. I think that was it. But we were talking about our Camden Fringe show. So it was a preview to the Camden Fringe. We did a run of 5-6 shows. So yeah, it was really good publicity for us.
Fantastic. Super stuff. Listen, don't go anywhere. You are listening to River Radio. This is Paul the Other One, and we're going to take a short break now, but afterwards we will be concluding the competition. You're on the edge of your seat to find out who is going to win this week's Paul the Other One. The final round, Make a Good Impression, is coming up right after this.
Wake up! Wake up!
With the Morning Brew. With James and Izzy.
Monday to Friday.
From 7 till 9.
Wow.
With fun features like How's My Driving? Hello, neighbour.
Hello.
And What's in My Box?
I'll pencil you in for next week.
Monday to Friday from 7 till 9. It's the Morning Brew with James and Izzy. Here on River Radio.
Not available in all areas. Other restrictions apply.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Time for round 4. This round is called Make a Good Impression. This is where each contestant will do an impression of a person from a film, television, or radio show, and the other contestants have to guess who that person, the character, and the show that it comes from. Points will be awarded for each correct answer. Let's start off with our special guest this week. It's Joe.
Oh my God, he landed on his eyes.
He landed on his eyes?
Oh, is this from a series, a TV series, a comedy series?
It may be. It's from a
Is
TV
it recent
series.
or from the past?
Recent.
Yeah, because I haven't got a clue what it is.
I've got
Yes,
some other
yeah.
quotes from the same character.
Go on.
Okay. Dad, is sushi food or drink? That was quite a good impersonation of this person.
Is it Friday night dinner?
No.
So you can't say it was a good impression if I haven't got a clue what it is.
But you might not know what it is.
Yeah, but you sound exactly the same as you did normally. So is it you in a TV sitcom?
Yes. I'll just
Do it
say,
again.
okay. Oh my God, he landed on his eyes. That was a bad impression of the person.
Is it a male character? Young boy, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it American or UK?
It's UK.
Okay.
Is it on TV now?
Not right now. It's had 2 series. It's been recommissioned to have a 3rd one.
Is it Afterlife?
No, it's before death. No, it's it's not afterlife.
Is there anyone really well known in this series that we'd all know of?
No.
Oh, okay, so that's tough. So people that we haven't heard of. Great, that's going to make it a little bit more tricky then.
Is it a show we would have heard of with people in it we wouldn't have heard of? Okay.
It's a show that you should have heard, but that doesn't really matter if you've heard of.
And it's not really a comedy, so it's a sitcom.
It is a comedy.
Oh, it is a comedy.
It's
Okay.
a sitcom and it's a comedy. Oh my God, he landed on his eyes. Okay, it's getting worse. Just remember the first time I did it. He's a really
doesn't say-
stupid character.
It doesn't sound like a comedy the way you're doing it.
Oh, that's why I didn't write it.
Oh, I'm really
Right, I
stuck.
tell you what, I am going to give up because I have
Anyone
no idea.
thinking something but too scared to say it?
I just kind of thought that guy from The In-Betweeners for some reason, but he's normally quite intelligent, that one, so he wouldn't say something like that.
Okay, it's
know-
about an estate agent.
I know this.
I've seen...
Homes Under the Hammer.
No.
So I kind of think what it is it the guy with the buck teeth, with the tan?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I know what it is, but I can't place the name of
Is
it.
it Phone
So
Jacker?
funny.
No, it's not. And he's got the big teeth and all.
You do a better impression of him than I would. Sure.
Okay, we clearly have no clue. You're going to have to tell us, Joe.
It is a show called Staff Lets Flats.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. I still don't know what it is, but Joe gets the point for that. Let's move on. And where to? Let's go to Pratik.
Stop grinning and drop your linen.
Is that Clint Eastwood?
In what world
No.
is that, Clint Eastwood?
Pratik in his impressions.
It's probably Hannibal Lecter again.
Is it a film?
It is?
Is it a Western?
No.
The comedy.
No.
Is this person talking to a woman?
Yes, he's talking to a woman in this time, yeah.
Okay.
In this time, is it period piece? It could be.
Can
Do you
you?
want
Back to
another-
the Future.
Do you want another clue? I've got
Yes.
another line from the film.
Yeah, could you do it like the character this time?
Game over, man. Game over.
I don't think that's how he sounds.
Game over, man. Is that the dude?
It's not the dude. It's not the dude every week, Chloe. Come on.
It's just
Is
your
it like
impression.
what? No, it's not a comedy.
It's very famous, actually. Game over, man. Game over.
Is this like a cult film?
Yes.
Is it recent?
No.
Pulp Fiction.
It's not Pulp Fiction. I'll give you a clue. It's set in outer space.
It's not Spaceballs, is it?
No. Where people can't hear you scream.
That would be one of the Alien movies, wouldn't it?
You
yeah,
got it.
because in space nobody can eat ice cream.
Which alien is it?
One.
No.
2.
7.
It's number 2. And who's the actor? And who is the character?
Is it Sean Bean?
It's not. So, Brian, I win 2 points because they didn't get the character or the...
Or the
Yeah,
actor's
sorry.
name?
So Brian was the person who got that, and he's not even in. So do you get points, Brian?
Yeah, but I'm going to take my point and use it as a minus point against Pratik, so he only gets 1 point.
Oh, good choice.
So, I'm going to give you the answer. It was Bill Paxton as Hudson in Alien 2.
Can I just say what an uncanny impersonation of Bill Paxman that actually was? If you actually play some recordings back to back, I
Wouldn't
think
know
we're
who
going to
it
be hard pushed to find the difference, if I'm honest.
Are you waiting for my impression?
I can't wait.
I think we're waiting for something. Yeah.
Okay, one more facelift, darling, and she's going to have a beard.
It is a film from the 90s.
I want to understand the quote. Is it what I think it is?
One more facelift on this one, and she'll have a beard, darling.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's an amazing thing to have written.
Do you want another quote? Do you want another one?
Yeah.
I hate gynecologists. A man that can look you in the vag but not in the eye.
Is this Julie, what's her chops from 99?
No.
It's an American film, English film.
Is it a UK series?
Yes.
Is it Absolutely Fabulous?
But who?
Jennifer Saunders.
No, is it Patsy?
Joanna Lumley.
Patsy, yes. With a quote like that, one more facelift on this one and she'll have a beard. I mean...
Is that Joanna Lumley?
Yes.
I think
Joanna
I should get a point.
I think you should both get one because you said Patsy, which is the character, and you said Joanna Lumley, so that was both right.
I said Ab Fab as well.
Joe, I really wouldn't worry too much about the points.
I am.
I haven't even noted down any of them yet.
You did a good impression though, because I saw Ab Fab in my head, and I think that's.
Oh, thank you.
So well done to everybody at the end of that round. We have at the moment Chloe in the lead with 9 points. We've got Joe coming up behind on 7 points, and sadly trailing like a tiring arse is Pratik with 3 points.
What time is it?
It's tea time with Mike and Bruce.
Monday to Friday?
4 till 6, making you smile with their outstanding features.
Yes, baby.
Features like, what are you having for tea? Whose birthday tea is it today? How was your day?
I think we better call it a day.
Yes, so make sure it's Mike and Bruce at your tea time.
Monday to Friday.
4 till 6 on River Radio.
So here we are in round 5. This is the quick fire round. Fingers on the buzzers. First person to answer will get these points. And don't forget, it's double points. What is the name of Joe's Fringe Festival?
I'm not Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
You're absolutely correct. 2 points to you. Who amongst our panel has a script writing service?
That's me. And if you want to know more, please visit www.joannatilly.com.
Fantastic. You're absolutely right. Congratulations. Just at the last minute there, Joe, you have absolutely steamed it and taken the lead. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was well deserved.
That's the end of this week's Pull the Other One. It leaves me to say thank you to our resident contestants, Chloe Sinclair and Pratik Barman, and a massive thank you to our guest contestant, Joe Tilley. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Stay with us right here on River Radio. It's the voice of the Thames Valley.
The soundtrack to life in the Thames Valley. River
Radio.
On the web.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
On your mobile.
Hello?
And on Alexa too.
River Radio.
That's it!
I pronounce that River Radio, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.